Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to my channel. Blitzball Champ is back with a brand new video here on the U to the Tube. We gonna talk some pro wrestling tonight. Oh yes, we gonna talk some pro wrestling. A lot of exciting things going on in pro wrestling, and some, a couple of things as well. But let's talk. Let's talk. Let's get into it. So, first off, let's start out with some Stardom. So, big news. I just came across a tweet, and I'll link this tweet into the description box. But I did not know about this. I literally just found out about this earlier today. I don't know how I missed this, but with Stardom. So, one of the things I have been wanting to do for a while now is to be able to purchase official Stardom merchandise. And even though they kind of had like a little site, like a small site that was in Japanese that I know some friends of mine linked me to, but with everything in Japanese and everything only uh, with payments via yen and stuff like that, and just wasn't as accessible as I thought. But thankfully, finally, as of just recently, like late November, they have now made it totally available for overseas folks and fans to be able to purchase official Stardom merchandise. So apparently it's through shop.bai.jp/stardom, but actually has the capabilities to be able to make purchases, and they will ship overseas. So I'll definitely put that tweet. There was a video in that tweet where Mayu Iwatani, pretty much, the ace of Stardom right now, one of the main top wrestlers in Stardom, pretty much made the announcement in a small little PSA. So, of course, it was in Japanese, but had subtitles. But yeah, so anybody outside of Japan, anybody overseas, will be able to purchase official Stardom merchandise. So I'm excited about that. I would like to get at least a T-shirt, like a Stardom T-shirt, and maybe even a T-shirt from each of the stables. I would love to have one from Queen's Quest, Donna Del Mundo, Oedo Tai, and Stars. Why not? Why not? I definitely want to show my support. I'm a big fan of Stardom, One World Wonder Ring Stardom. Big fan. So definitely want to support them. Those ladies do an excellent job. Very entertaining matches, and just I definitely enjoy Stardom for some really great women's wrestling. Um, it seems like there's been, I don't know if if you ask me, seems like there's starting to be a little bit of dissension within Stardom. There's just a little bit of dissension within the Stars. I meant to say Stars. Within the Stars stable. Recently there was a tag team match within the Stars stable between it was Riho and Saya Ida teaming up to face Tam Nakano and Inagi Sayaka. Yeah, Inaki Sayaka. Um, which is part of the sub team called the Cosmic Angels. So the Cosmic Angels are those two, Tam Nakano, Inagi Sayaka, and Mina Shirakawa. Those three make up the Cosmic Angels. So that's their little subunit that they've started. They recently got a tag team victory over Riho and Saya Ida, and afterwards, I believe it was Tam Nakano that went for the handshake, and it got slapped away. It got slapped away. So I don't know, y'all. Gotta, is there some tension in stars? It doesn't it doesn't seem normal. It doesn't seem normal for stars. Usually everybody's so happy go lucky and all that kind of good stuff. So I mean, yeah, what's the deal? So yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that. But I mean, I hope it doesn't eventually. I mean, it might eventually lead to maybe some sort of split. Apparently, Saya Ida didn't take too kindly to the loss. So, I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's really all I could say about that. It just seems like a very tough sort of situation. But we'll see what happens. That's pretty much all I have for Stardom. But the main thing is just with the merchandise now being available overseas. That's big win, big win. Um, let's talk a little bit of New Japan Pro Wrestling. So still got another week of Best of Super Juniors and the World Tag League. But at least we got the Super J Cup getting ready to start, so that's right around the corner. But looking at some scores so far for the best of the Super Juniors, right now, um, we got a five-way tie for 10 points between El Desperado, Sho, Hiromu Takahashi, and Taiji Ishimori. So each of them have 10 points. Bushi and Master Wato have 8 points. Robbie Eagles and Ryusuke Taguchi have 6 points. Doki has 2 points, and unfortunately, Young Lion Yu Uemura only has 0 points. Which initially, um, Yoshinobu Kanemaru was supposed to be in this tournament, but due to injury, he was replaced by Uemura. Um, there's still a few matches left, but I believe it's been confirmed that there's no chance that Robbie Eagles, Ryusuke Taguchi, Doki, and Yu Uemura can win this tournament. So they're pretty much eliminated. So any victories they get going forward are just pretty much bragging right victories. But it's hard to say. I'm not sure who I think is going to win this. I mean, yeah, it's kind of hard to say. If you ask me, maybe it's going to come down between Taiji Ishimori and Hiromu Takahashi, but I don't know. It's very exciting though. It's been very exciting. Um, Master Wato, Master Wato's been on the up and coming. Bushi kind of started off a little bit slow, but he's starting to bounce back. So hey, we'll see what happens with that. Um, and then in the World Tag League, the standings so far, which I know everything is still in progress. The standings so far, we got Tomohiro Ishii and Toru Yano with 10 points. We have a one, two, three, four, five, six-way tie of 8 points, and the teams are Shingo Takagi and Sonata, the Dangerous Techers of Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr., the current IWGP heavyweight champs. Um, Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi, the Great Okarn and Jeff Cobb, Tamatanga and Tangaloa, the Gorillas of Destiny, and Juice Robinson and David Finlay. Evo and Yujiro Takahashi have 6 points. Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens have 4 points, and Tora Hinare and Hiroshi Tanahashi have 2 points. So, but yeah, it's still going to be close as it's going into this final week of tournament action. But it'll be interesting to see who breaks out. Of course, Finjuice, or former World Tag League winners, which I believe Finjuice won it last year. So looks like they're making their case, to kind of go on a tear, and maybe they can finish strong and get into the finals. Which I believe the finals for both of these tournaments will be held on December 12th. I believe December 11th is the last day, and then the top two teams and the top two singles for the Best of Super Juniors, I believe they face off on December 12th. So I believe that's going to be. So, but yeah, should be great. And then I believe the idea is that the winners will get their respective championship matches at Wrestle Kingdom in January. So that'll be exciting. That should be very exciting. A lot of good teams in here, and same with the best of the Super Juniors. But around the corner, we'll have the Super J Cup. So still a lot to look forward to. So we'll see what happens with that. So New Japan Pro Wrestling doing their thing, still going strong. Um, let's let's talk some let's talk some AEW first. Um, actually, no, scratch that. We gonna save AEW for last. So WWE. Okay, so to kind of get the bad stuff out of the way. So for 2 straight weeks, the team of Asuka and Lana have defeated Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. 2 straight weeks. Shayna pinned twice. Pinned by Asuka and then pinned by Lana. And it really looks like we got ourselves a team of Asuka and Lana. And it's apparent that Asuka has to carry this whole team. That's just how it is. Um, but you know what? I gotta give Asuka credit. She's really been a good sport about a lot of this. Now, I understand I don't know what goes on off camera or anything like that, but just the way that she's kind of flowed with things, just with the promos and just in these type of situations, I feel like Asuka's been a good sport. She doesn't seem like one that's a complainer or one that gets upset easily. And I could be wrong, but I don't. I know I wouldn't be too thrilled about the idea of a tag being in a tag team with Lana. No offense. I mean, even Shayna looked like she was pretty upset for reals, after going through getting pinned by Lana. So it just it's really bad. And honestly, two victories over the tag champs like that make the tag champs look weak. Makes them look utterly weak. I mean, it's bad enough that it's like we don't have legit tag teams as tag team women's tag team champs. I mean, it's just been bad. It's just been bad. I mean, those tag titles have only been defended on NXT twice. Twice. I just, it's bad. It's really, really bad. And just, if putting Lana and Asuka in a tag team is the best thing that they can do in order to possibly get Lana a championship by crowning them as new women's tag team champions. I mean, ugh. I mean, and I know some people will say, "Well, that Oscar would be a double champions." I mean, double champions, two belt title holders is overrated now. It's outplayed now. It's outplayed now. WWE has really just rubbed it into the ground. It's just, and not just them, but like also elsewhere. Only because I see it so much. Like, I'm sorry, two belts and such. It's overrated now. It's really really overrated. Um, Retribution. Can we please just end Retribution? Just disband that stable. Just let folks go back to the personas they were and just come up with something different. This ain't working. This ain't working. Mia Yim, aka Reckoning, finally has her first main roster match, and I don't think the match even lasted 5 minutes. Her mask came off, and she got pinned, rolled up by Dana Brooke. I just, how many times has Retribution even won? Like what? Once, maybe twice since debuting. This is ridiculous. Like, you got Mia losing. I mean, you got Ali and the rest of the Retribution getting punked out and destroyed by the Fiend and such. Mercedes Martinez is no longer part of the group and is just sent back to NXT. You know, Slapjack. Yeah, I can't go any further with this. They just they just need to scrap that idea. It's not working. They aren't a legitimate threat. It's just not working. It's not working. So, yeah. I mean, I just really don't like how WWE is just ruining these guys. Like, folks in the Retribution, I mean, Ricochet, like so many folks. Aleister Black, like, are we ever even going to see Aleister Black again? He requested to be sent to NXT, that got denied, and we haven't seen Aleister Black since. So I just, WWE just knows how to screw up talent. But a little bit more on the positive side with WWE. We got NXT War Games coming up this Sunday. So that's something to be excited about. Looking at this card, it's a small card, but I mean you got one title match and two War Games matches. But oh, and they actually added another match to the card. So you got five total matches. It was originally four, but apparently there's a fifth one that got added. So going through the card, so we are officially going to get Timothy Thatcher versus Tommaso Ciampa. Um, this is kind of interesting because I don't know. Lately, it seems like Tommaso Ciampa has really been kind of not being used much and just kind of when he is used, it's just not in a normal way. But Timothy Thatcher, Tommaso Ciampa, I mean, should be hard hitting, should be interesting. You know, Timothy Thatcher recently got the upper hand on Tommaso Ciampa. Choked him to sleep with the guillotine, standing guillotine. So I mean, hey, this could potentially be a hard hitting match. So I'm down. Thatcher and Ciampa, I'm down. Um, Dexter Loomis versus Cameron Grimes in a strap match. I mean, this is getting kind of repetitive. Like, how much more are they going to wrestle each other? I mean, it's getting a little bit repetitive. So this is another storyline I'm about ready for that to end. To be honest with you, I mean it has been entertaining and funny, but it's getting kind of repetitive. So um, we got a triple threat for the North American Championship. The champion Leon Ruff versus Johnny Gargano versus Damian Priest. My main question is now, don't get me wrong, I like Leon Ruff. I got a chance to see Leon Ruff twice at two Evolve shows. The dude can wrestle. The dude can wrestle. Putting the belt on him was kind of weird, but I understand what they're trying to do. I think what it just comes down to is how long they gonna keep this joke going. Leon Ruff is in a match with, you know, Gargano and Damian Priest, two very popular, very strong opponents. I mean, if there's any chance of Leon Ruff walking away as the champion, it's going to take some sort of interference or some sort of outsmarting tactics or something. Something weird has to happen because I don't see him legitimately beating either of these two. And it'll be no disqualification because apparently now triple threat matches by default are no DQs, no countouts. So that'll probably be taken into advantage in this match. But I mean, who knows? Maybe they keep keep the trend going and Leon Ruff retains some way somehow. Or it could be a way to get the belt back on Gargano or even Damian Priest. But we'll just have to see what happens. Um, we have one of our two War Games matches, the men's War Games match. It's the Undisputed Era against Pat McAfee, Pete Dunne, Danny Burch, Oni Lorcan. Um, in this match, Pat McAfee's team has the advantage. Um, I'm kind of having, excuse me, I'm kind of having mixed feelings about this one because I don't know. Is this? I got a couple of different thoughts in my head about this. I mean, is this the match where you put Matt or excuse me, Pat McAfee and his squad over. Because I mean, after all, he did lose his match against Adam Cole. Even though he went the distance with him, he still lost that match. So is this kind of his way of how they put Pat McAfee over by having him and his squad win at War Games? Does somebody in the Undisputed Era turn pretty much turn heel? I mean, I think the popular choice may be Kyle O'Reilly. After all, him and Adam Cole tore the mess out of each other back in ROH. So, I mean, I don't know. Or do you have the Undisputed Era, you know, go out on top? But then it's like, where do you go from there? How long do you continue that rivalry? I don't know. It just seems like War Games should really be the type of rivalry ending match. But we'll see. But I don't know. I don't know who wins this one, to be honest with you. And then we have the women's War Games match. We got Team Shotzi, which is made up of Shotzi Blackheart, Ember Moon, Rhea Ripley, and Io Shirai, versus Team Candice, made up of Team Candice is made up of Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, Tony Storm. Um, to be honest with you, I hope this one. I mean, I would like probably this one to be the main event, but I really like this matchup. Um, these both of these teams look pretty strong. Both of these teams look strong. Um, and I believe this is Raquel Gonzalez, Tony Storm, and Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. I believe this is their first time in War Games because Rhea Ripley's been in War Games, Candice LeRae has been in War Games, and Dakota Kai's been in War Games before. Um, I mean, she wasn't there for long because she turned on Tegan Knox, but still. Um, to be honest with you, I would be okay with either of these two teams winning. I like both teams. On paper, I like both teams. And I think with who's in this match getting the opportunity to really shine, I'm happy for all of these women. And I'm even happy for Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan, not only as tag team champs, but having their opportunity in a War Games match. I really, you know, I really like this. I really like what they're doing, and like I said, I'd be okay with Team Candice or Team Shotzi winning. I'll probably be rooting for Team Shotzi because, Shotzi and Io, those are my girls. But on Team Candice, I like Dakota Kai and Candice LeRae, and I like Tony Storm, So I'm really okay with either team winning. But I'd like to see what happens. I mean, War Games is, lately the last few War Games have been good. So hopefully this will be just as good. I mean, they got to come out firing, you know, since AEW just recently had their last pay per view of the year with, I believe it was Full Gear. So, so yeah. Um. Okay. Now for AEW. Uh, watched the AEW Dynamite Winter is Coming show tonight, and of course, two, well, actually three big major things stood out to me. One, we got the imploding of the inner circle, um, which I figured was going to eventually happen. I didn't think it would happen so quick. I thought there was gonna be some more time kind of drawn out before this happened, but pretty much there was fighting and shoving. Jericho was in a match with Frankie Kazarian. MJF was on the verge of throwing in the towel, and then Sammy Guevara came out, stopped it, and it was just been back and forth. I mean, Jericho did get the victory, but just there was a lot of just back and forth between MJF and Sammy Guevara, a lot of dissension and fighting, and then it got to the point where Jericho is like, "Y'all got a week, y'all got 7 days. We're gonna have an ultimatum. We either gonna continue as the inner circle, everybody all together, or we gonna disband the whole entire stable for good, and just everybody split." So I don't know. Like, I knew this was bound to happen. I think it needs more time. I think this is kind of quick because it wasn't that long ago. I mean, it was full gear that MJF and Wardlow joined the inner circle. So I mean, I think it personally needs more time, but I figured this is was gonna eventually happen. So guess we'll see what happens in a week. Um, at the end of the match, with the end of the tag team match, which had and Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin, the TNT champion, going up against Will Hobbs and Ricky Starks. At the end of that match, as they were continuing to beat folks up, and even Arn Anderson got in some shots. Of course, Brian Cage eventually came out, and just Dustin Rhodes came out, and they brawled and brawled, and then eventually the lights went out, and then on the main screen you see a bunch of wintry trees, you see a bunch of snow, and then you see the Sting graphic, and out of nowhere, out of the tunnel, comes the icon Sting. That's right. Sting is in AEW. Of course, he pulled out his black bat, made his way to the ring. Pretty much, Team Taz they cleared out of there. They weren't about to have nothing to do with Sting. Sting goes over to look at Dustin Rhodes, goes over to look at Cody Rhodes and Arn Anderson and Darby Allin, just stared to all four of them. Did a few Sting yells and then left. And it was brought to everybody's attention that Sting has indeed signed a multi-year deal with All Elite Wrestling. Wow. Um big Sting fan. I mean, one of my favorite rivalries growing up was Sting versus the Great Muta. I mean, that's what made me fall in love with the Great Muta. He's my all-time favorite wrestler. So, this is interesting. This is very interesting because I know for the longest time WWE, I believe since 2010 or 2011, had been wanting to get Sting for a WrestleMania match against The Undertaker. That was like something that WWE was really pushing for, was for a match between Sting and The Undertaker. We never got it. But this is interesting. This is big. The icon Sting is now all elite. This is exciting. This is very exciting. I screamed like a little girl. I marked out like crazy for Sting. Like I said, I've been watching Sting for years and years. So It'll be interesting to see what happens. He's supposed to be speaking next week. I mean, the dude is 61 years old, so I don't know if he's going to really be doing much, if not any wrestling. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. He signed a multi-year deal, so we'll see what happens with Sting. You know, it's exciting. And then we had the main event, the big main event. That's right. John Moxley defended the AEW World Championship against Kenny Omega. And it was a great match, of course, hard hitting back and forth as I expected. The interesting thing about this was Don Callis, the EVP of Impact Wrestling, was joined at commentary for this main event match. But it didn't just end there. So, late in the match, as it was getting ready to go towards the end, Kenny Omega was down on the outside like he was hurt. Many referees came swarming in. Moxley wasn't buying it. Throwed him back in. It's going to do more damage. Here comes Don Callis coming to the ringside. He has a mic. It's like, hey, he's hurt. Hey, he's hurt. Moxley knocks him down, but the mic got tossed into the ring. And Kenny Omega ended up using that mic and hitting Moxley with it, which ended up drawing blood, which I don't know if there was something hidden in that or what, but I've never known of a scenario for somebody to get hit with a microphone and they start bleeding. Usually it's a chair shot or any other weapon, but a microphone? That's just that kind of transition. That's just kind of weird. But it was what was there. So after that, and a barrage of V triggers and a one winged angel, and Kenny Omega is your new AEW World Champion. And not only that, Don Callis grabs him, barely can get his hand raised, and they just jet. They jet out of the arena into a car and just drove off, sped off. But before they did, as they was running out of the arena, other wrestlers and folks were like so disappointed, and they let that disappointment know towards Kenny Omega and Don Callis. Porter tried to get a word. What's the deal? What's the deal? Don Callis. You'll find out on Tuesday. Meaning you will find out on Tuesday on Impact Wrestling. We'll find out on Tuesday on Impact Wrestling. I don't know about y'all, but could we possibly see an AEW Impact Wrestling partnership? What do y'all think? I mean, they're already got some sort of partnership going on with the NWA because they've been having the NWA Women's World Championship defended on AEW. And now Kenny Omega's taking the AEW World title to Impact Wrestling. And Don Callis is the EVP of Impact Wrestling. If you ask me, I think this could possibly be a partnership. And honestly, that would be such a big deal. They've already got Impact wrestlers on Twitter tweeting about it, talking about dream matches. I mean, think about it. Could y'all imagine AEW and Impact Wrestling partnering up? Think about that. We could get we could get the North versus the Young Bucks. We could get Jordan Grace versus Hikaru Shida. We could get Tasha Steeles versus, I don't know, Britt Baker, or heck, Tasha Steeles versus Big Swole. Why not? You know, Abaddon versus Sue Young. Or shoot, get Rosemary in there. You know? Or heck, I would go crazy, crazy for FTR versus the Motor City Machine Guns. Or shoot, even Top Flight versus the Motor City Machine Guns. Like, I would mark out like crazy for that. And them versus FTR. I mean, them versus the Young Bucks is great too. But FTR versus the Motor City Machine Guns has never happened before. Now, we recently saw how lit and how on fire the match between FTR and the Young Bucks was for the tag titles. So, I'm pretty sure, and not only that, I believe that FTR wants, really, really wants to wrestle the Motor City Machine Guns. So, I would totally be down. Or shoot, the North. The North. The North against any tag team. Shoot, the North versus the Hybrid 2. Or against SCU. Dude, the possibilities are endless. Endless. If you ask me, I feel like this would be the best opportunity for AEW and these other promotions to really have a leg up on WWE. Could you imagine, like, just all going in? AEW, NWA, Impact Wrestling. I mean, me personally, I would have loved New Japan Pro Wrestling to partner with AEW, especially Stardom. Oh man, it would be a wrap. They would have, a lot to work with. And it would open up ideas for, future type of shows. And not only that, think about what they could do with that. Have the ladies in AEW, a part of Stardom in the future. Have them in the Goddess of Stardom Tag League. Have them in the 5-Star Grand Prix. Have them in the Cinderella tournament. You know? And vice versa. You know? It makes me think about the relationship ROH and New Japan Pro Wrestling had. All the global wars, those special pay-per-views they had, like I've been wanting an AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling relationship for a long time. Because I know for me, one of the big things I would love to see, with Stardom, and New Japan Pro Wrestling both under Bushi Road. Shoot, we could get Sheeta and Shuri reunited again. Shoot. Yeah, don't get me started on that. The possibilities are endless, but we'll have to wait and see how this whole Kenny Omega with the AEW Championship going on Impact Wrestling this coming Tuesday. That's a big deal. That could could lead to something big. So we'll see. But John Moxley has been dethroned. But but yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot going on in the pro wrestling world. A lot going on. But that's all that I have. Uh Plan on getting back on here again for my aftermath of NXT Wargames. I'll give my thoughts on that. And yeah, I'll probably give my thoughts on the two New Japan Pro Wrestling tournaments, and just there's a lot. There's a lot to look forward to, and it's exciting. It's very exciting. But let me know what y'all think. What are y'all excited about from any of these promotions or any promotion I haven't mentioned? By all means, let me know what y'all are excited about, what y'all are looking forward to. What do y'all think about everything that's happened? Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a video. Thank y'all so much for watching. This is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. Hope everybody has a blessed day. Laters.